You know that feeling, right? That little nagging thought that something is being quietly siphoned off, that no matter what you do, how hard you work, the numbers, they just don't feel right anymore. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not imagining it, and it is absolutely by design. Today, we are opening the file on your 2026 paycheck, and we're going to expose exactly how the squeeze works.
Think back to that first payday in January. You saw the email, you opened the pay stub, you looked at the gross pay, then you looked at the net pay, and you felt it, didn't you? That little pit in your stomach. It just seemed light. Lighter than it should be. Your gut was telling you something was off. And you know what? Your gut was 100% correct.
And this is why. Welcome to what I call the paycheck gaslight. All the headlines are screaming about a federal tax cut. That's the official story. But your lived reality, the actual number that lands in your bank account, is a net pay decrease. So how on earth can you get a tax cut but take home less money? It sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not. Let's follow the money. Our investigation starts right here with Exhibit A. And you need to understand, this isn't some accident or a broad general change. No. This is a highly targeted operation. This is a trap, and it's been set for a very specific group of people. This number, $85,000. For a long time, that was a goal, wasn't it? A sign that you were doing well, that you'd made it. Well, in 2026, the system has flipped the script. 85 grand is no longer just a milestone, it's a tripwire. It's the exact income level that activates a whole new set of mechanics designed to drain your paycheck. And here's the primary weapon. It's called CPP Tier 2. The easiest way to think about it is as a stealth tax. It's a second layer of deductions that lies dormant until you earn over about $74,000. Then it clicks on. Now, this thing has been ramping up for a few years, but 2026 is the year it's fully activated. It's armed, and it's catching millions completely off guard. Let's look at the damage in cold, hard numbers. On top of everything you were already paying into CPP, this new Tier 2 just rips an extra $416 straight out of your pay if you're earning $85,000 or more. Just gone. But believe me, that's just the opening salvo. Now check this out, because this is a classic sleight of hand, a real magician's trick. The government makes this big, proud announcement. We're decreasing the EI rate. Great headline, sounds fantastic. But while you're looking at that hand, their other hand is quietly raising the ceiling. That's the maximum amount of your income they can apply that rate to. Now, let's be fair. The federal tax cut is real. That part is true. For someone in this income bracket, it puts about $292 back in your pocket over the year. Okay, remember that number, plus $292. Because here comes the other side of the ledger. That new CPP Tier 2 trap costs you $416. And that sneaky little EI ceiling hike, that costs you another $46. Add them up, that's a brand new $462 withdrawal from your earnings. So let's do this simple math. They give you $292 with one hand, and they take $462 with the other. The final score for a high earner? You are $170 poorer. Let that sink in. You received a tax cut, and your take-home pay went down. The game is rigged for you to lose. And this might be the most insidious part of the whole thing. High earners, you used to get what we called a deduction holiday. Remember? You'd max out your CPP and EI payments by, say, October or November, and those last few paychecks of the year were bigger. Felt like a nice little Christmas bonus. Well, for anyone earning around 85 grand, that's over. It's gone. The new math has been carefully calculated to make sure they can take their slice from every single paycheck all year long. The break is gone. The squeeze is now permanent. Okay, so that's the direct assault on your paycheck. But that's just phase one. Let's move on to our next file, Exhibit B. This is the story of a tax they told you was gone, a tax that officially vanished into thin air, but is now haunting the entire supply chain, invisibly driving up the price of everything you buy. Here's the official story, right from the source, the Bank of Canada. The consumer carbon tax, the one you saw on your gas receipt, was set to zero. Gone. Disappeared. And you know what? That's true. It's not on your receipt anymore, but that is not the whole truth. So where did it go? It didn't just disappear. It went undercover. It morphed from being a visible surcharge, a line item you could see and get angry about, to an invisible input cost. It's not a tax on you anymore, oh no. It's a tax on the companies that make the things and the truckers that ship the things. And who do you think they pass that cost on to? This is the number you need to know. $110 per ton. That's the industrial carbon price. This is the ghost tax. It's baked into the price of everything. The cost of steel, the cost of fertilizer for food, the cost of the diesel in the trucks. It's why everything on the shelf is more expensive. And it's designed so you never see the tax you're actually paying. So they're taking more from your paycheck, and they're making what's left of your paycheck buy less. But what about getting a raise? Surely a good raise helps you get ahead, right? Let's open Exhibit C. This isn't a single tax. This is a systemic trap. It's designed to slowly and silently chew away at the value of your hard work. This is the war on your raise. The weapon they use is called bracket creep. It sounds boring and technical, but it is fundamentally a dishonest way to raise taxes. Here's how the scam works. You get a 3% raise to keep up with prices. Great, but that little raise pushes you into a higher tax bracket. The problem is the government hasn't adjusted those brackets to keep up with inflation. The end result? You're paying a higher tax rate just for trying to stay in the same place. It's a stealth tax increase. And here's the con, right here in the numbers. For 2026, the tax brackets were only indexed up by 2%. But a typical cost of living raise is at least 3, maybe 4%. That gap, that 1 or 2% difference, that's where they get you. That gap is how the system is engineered to guarantee that even when you get a raise, you fall a little bit further behind. Now, so far, we've just been looking at the federal level. But this squeeze isn't a one-size-fits-all assault. For our final exhibit, Exhibit D, we see how this whole game turns into a chaotic, totally unfair lottery where your financial survival can literally depend on your postal code. Just look at this chaos across the country. Vancouver proudly announces a 0% property tax hike, but oh, by the way, they're jacking up your utility fees by over 4%. Toronto is just openly threatening a mind-blowing 22% hike. Calgary keeps it low, but surprise, they hit you with utility fees too. And in Montreal, the tax burden is about to get completely shuffled onto homeowners. Do you see the pattern? Different city, different excuse, different line item. But the result is always the same. The squeeze is on. Okay, we have laid out a lot of evidence. We've exposed the traps, the sleight of hand, the ghost taxes, and I know it can feel completely overwhelming. But the point of this is not to make you feel powerless. It's the exact opposite. Because this entire complex system is built on one single fragile assumption, that you are not paying attention. And that means the ultimate act of resistance is knowledge. So here's how you fight back. 1. You have to understand they are counting on you being too busy, too tired, too confused to notice. 2. They win this game when you don't look at the details. 3. Your attention is your superpower. It is the one thing they cannot control. And that leads to 4. This is your mission. Go back, find your last pay stub, audit it, understand every single deduction. See the system for exactly what it is. We've shown you the hidden mechanics, the secret rules, the code that's running behind the game being played with your money. And now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So the only question that matters is, what are you going to do about it?